So, recap. My two younger ones are living with their dad. My oldest and I had amended our relationship, but he still wasn't living at my house. I went from being a mom who had it all to sleeping on couch cushions in an empty apartment with no kids and no plan. And I didn't tell a single person. Now, before we get into today's episode, I just need to say something clearly, especially for my kids. I've watched all of my episodes back multiple times because I am my own worst critic. And as I watched them, I realized there was something I hadn't said yet. And I don't want anyone confused. I put no blame on my kids for that time in our lives. None. We are all back to us now, back to our loving relationships, and all three of them see everything clearly today. Some people think teens should just know better, but unless you've raised teens, you just don't get it. That age is one of the hardest seasons of their young adult lives, and I had three at the exact same time. My kids weren't turning on their mom. They weren't trying to abandon me. They were listening to someone they trusted, and they were going through their own pain too. It's been 5 years now, and all three of them see the truth. And I want this on record. My kids are three of the strongest humans I've ever met. They know who their mom is, and the four of us are back to us again. They are my heart, my everything, and I just needed you to know that. And now, let's talk. So, the notice came. This part is embarrassing, but this whole story is the truth, so I'm not sugarcoating anything. I was living in an apartment with empty rooms. All of my kids' stuff was there, but they weren't. No laughter, no nights, no movie nights, and no dinners to cook. Now, not that I know how to cook, but if you know me, you know my favorite time of the day was making dinner, watching my kids banter and laughing together. And suddenly, there was no one. No one to tuck in, and yes, I tucked my kids in every night, even as teens. It was by far the emptiest place I've ever been. Your kids are alive, but it feels like they're gone. They're right down the street, but you can't see them, touch them, hug them, or even talk to them. I came home one day, I don't even know from where, and there was a pay or quit notice on my door. I sat on my bed and thought, how am I supposed to find somewhere to live with no income and no job? And honestly, I can't tell you the exact timeline of what happened next. My memory is a freaking blur. But I know I was in survival mode. My neighbor was struggling to pay her rent, so I suggested something desperate, but logical at the time. I would move all of my stuff into her master bedroom. That way, if my two younger kids ever came to see me, they'd at least be somewhere familiar. And I could help her pay rent however I could. I don't think I was fully depressed yet. I was just moving, doing, and surviving. I moved everything, couches, furniture, my entire life, by hand. I got rid of all of my kids' belongings. I remember standing in my garage crying for hours, throwing away our life. Then there were trophies, hundreds of them. Years of solid hip hop, my history, my dancers, my blood, sweat, and tears. I laid every single trophy out in my driveway. I looked at each one and I remembered the dancer who won it and where we won it. Those moments mattered, and they still do. I decided to take a video. I kept 2 or 3 that meant the most to me, and I threw the rest away. That night, a friend invited me to a going away gathering. My eyes were bloodshot, and I did not want to go, but I did. I remember making a video for her, pretending I was okay, because no one knew what I was going through. Even now, my brother and sister have reached out and asked, why didn't you tell me? And honestly, I don't know. Maybe pride, maybe survival mode, maybe embarrassment. I had once figured everything out, the big house, the big life, and I just didn't want anyone to know the truth. So to my family watching this, there's no way you could have known. Even if you had asked, I probably would have lied and said I was okay. My youngest son came over on Mother's Day. We had a great day. I don't even know how that happened, but it did. That night, my oldest son got my daughter to come and we went to sushi. Now, if you ask me where the $250 came for dinner, I don't know. A friend probably helped me. Now, should I have spent that money on sushi? Probably not, but I was trying to be normal for my kids. I wanted them to see a whole mom, not a breaking one. We rode electric bikes around San Clemente. My son was 13. That day is burned into my memory. Another day, my son sat with me in my friend's master bedroom watching a movie. And I remember thinking, this kid used to live in a big house, vacations, Christmas, phones, everything. And here I was, just feeling like a complete failure. 2 weeks after I moved into my friend's place, she told me she couldn't pay rent and we both had to be out in 3 days. A guy friend got me a U-Haul. I moved everything into the U-Haul. I still technically had my apartment for 1 more week, but it was completely empty. So I decided I would sleep on 3 couch cushions on the floor for 7 nights. No furniture, no plan, and no idea where I was gonna go next. Just 7 days. One of my dancers, Kelsey Davies, and her mom's friend asked me what I was doing for my birthday. They surprised me. They showed up, and I remember thinking how the dance community I had built was holding me up when everything else had collapsed. Kelsey isn't just a dancer to me. She's my second daughter. A few days later, my friend saw through me. She asked what was really going on. I don't really know why, but I did tell her the truth. She said there might be a studio apartment available in Ladera Ranch. It's $800 a month. Now, I had no idea where I'd get that money. I barely had $200, but somehow I did. I moved in July of 2021. And here's the part I need you to hear. There's rock bottom, and then there's the moment you realize no one is coming to save you. I remember sitting there, hand shaking, crying so hard I couldn't breathe, thinking, I can't take one more hit. One morning, I stood in my tiny bathroom and I told myself, pretend you're on vacation. I put a dress on. I never wore dresses. I still don't. I went to the pool, I sat in the sun, and when I came back, I said, you only need $800 a month. I opened classes again outside in a park in Mission Viejo, just like 10 to 12 kids. I don't even remember how I found them, but it was enough to survive. Some days I couldn't even answer my mom when she asked me what I did that day. I would just stare at the TV. I had never been that unmotivated in my entire life. That pool day, whatever it was, God, survival, it gave me enough to just keep going. Next week, I'll tell you about the moment that got me into the NFL. It was one of the coolest moments of my life, and also the beginning of another 3 years of hell. Because just when you think it can't get worse, sometimes it does. We're starting to drop our women's series on Thursdays. That should be coming here in the next couple of weeks. Stay tuned, guys. next week.